Welcome back, sports fans, for another edition of the Pioneer Sports Preview. Once again, I'm Greg Buckner, joined by Dane Pavlowski. This week, again, looking at the prep sports scene for the football slate coming up here for Friday night. Big game coming up here, looking at Newaygo traveling to Reed City. A lot of history there with their playoff matchups, but Reed City paid back the favor last year with a pretty good beatdown of Newaygo. So looking at this game, do you see the Coyotes once again getting revenge on their rival?
You know, I do, and it's going to be interesting because this year, last year and the last few years, Reed City's had Chad Samuels to kind of fall back on. Maybe the run game's getting a little clogged up. But this year, you know, Nolan Patterson threw 4 passes at Tri-County last week, had a couple picked off. Still, you know, that passing game hasn't really come along. So if Newaygo's going to get revenge, it's going to be this year. This is a good chance, but man, that Reed City running game, that backfield, really, really tough. It's going to be a tough matchup both ways.
Yeah, like you said, I think if they can make some plays there in the passing game, defensive-wise for Newaygo, they'll be able to do some stuff. But like you said, Reed City's running game, hard to stop, and I believe that train is going to keep on rolling against Newaygo. But it should be this will be a pretty good first real test for them to start out this season. Also moving on here, we've got the Pine River Bucks. Had a rough year last year, but come out with 2 impressive wins. Took Benzie Central behind the woodshed last week. And now a big, kind of intriguing matchup with Beal City, who's obviously been the class of the Highland Conference the last few years. They squeaked out a win over Clare last week, but not many people were expecting to be that close. So looking at that game, what do you gauge the Bucks' chances there of pulling off the upset?
You know, and you said it, you know, they squeaked out that win, Beal City did over Clare, and if that game was different, I wouldn't be thinking like I am right now, but man, Pine River, they got it done in all facets of the game last week. Brandon Fulks had over 200 yards returning and a couple touchdowns on 4 touches. And, you know, Beal City, obviously, like you said, the class of the Highland, but man, if Pine River can get some of those special teams plays or get some big defensive plays, Beal City looking a little down, Pine River's putting up a pile of points. I think the Bucks could really shock some people here.
I have to agree with you on that one. I think just with the, like you said, all facets of the game, the Bucks have been really kind of motor in there, especially on offense. Kids like Fulks, and they've got the weaponry. I think it's just if they can prove to themselves they can be in the game early, I think that's the biggest thing. If something bad happens and they fall down early, I think that might change it. But if they can get some early momentum, I think that's going to be a game that where Beal City might be on a little upset alert there, and that could be a big game for the Highland Conference outlook looking forward here.
Oh, definitely.
And here we're at Top Taggart Field today at Ferris State, so let's talk about the Bulldogs. Came off school record-setting offensive performance last week against McKendree to open the season. Now starting up the GLIAC schedule against Northwood on the road this Saturday. So looking at this game, I mean, pretty much it's just the Bulldogs got to keep what they got going on offense, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's it. You know, I was just going to say, it doesn't really matter what Northwood's going to try to do, as long as Ferris State does what they do. And you know, we saw that Vanderlaan went nuts. Everybody really was in that party at McKendree, and you know, if they just stick to their game plan, I think Northwood will be in trouble.
Definitely. I think it's the same thing. If they can keep that offense rolling like it's been, going to be another good day for the Bulldogs. The thing they do, Northwood running a little triple option this year, but the Bulldogs are so used to seeing that from their own offense, seeing all the option in practice. I think pretty much just stay home, take care of your assignments. Bulldogs should be coming home with the victory. Now let's move on to a few more other games we got on the prep schedule. Just make some quick picks here. Moving on, we have Crossroads going to Lawrence at 8-man action. Been tough skating for the Cougars, and Lawrence obviously another one of those 8-man programs that's been at it for a while. They've got the reputation. They've had some success in the playoffs. So just you know, your outlook on that game, your pick.
That's it. You know, Crossroads already played Peck, the defending 8-man champions. Well, Peck beat Lawrence in the 8-man semifinals last year. Unfortunately for the Crossroads Cougars, you know, they're working, they're trying to get into 8-man, but not going to happen this week.
Yeah, like I said, going to have to go with Lawrence. Obviously, they've been in for a while, and I think they're just going to keep going. You know, Cougars just got to keep plugging at it.
Oh, yeah.
So moving on here, we have Morley Stanwood looking for their first win, going to be traveling to White Cloud. What's your pick on this game?
I got Morley Stanwood. You know, they haven't been able to get a win, haven't been able to put a full game together, but I think this week White Cloud is a great opportunity to do that. I think they'll turn things around and get things rolling in the right direction.
Like you said, I have to agree with you there. I think White Cloud, typically a team you can get a win on here at the CSAA, and I think Morley will be able to do the same. Also, we have Big Rapids coming back home, going against Grant. They're still looking for their first win after losing big to Newaygo last week. Picks on that game?
You know, this is, again, like Morley Stanwood, this is a great situation for Big Rapids. They let 50 points against Newaygo last week, but Grant, the second shutout of the season for Chippewa Hills, So Grant didn't even score. Grant's got to be feeling a little down right now. Big Rapids, if they want to make a statement at home, this is the week to do it and get that first win under head coach Joe Woodrow.
You know, I'm feeling that way too. I feel Big Rapids going to pull it out. I'm just going with my guy on that one. So, and speaking of the Warriors, coming home this week, got their home opener against Bay City, John Glenn. Thoughts on that game?
You know, I think Chippewa Hills, you know, you were at the game last week. They still have not given up a point this season in 2 weeks. I think Chippewa Hills, I think that defense keeps rolling. I think Hunter Conley keeps things going on offense, and I think they pick up another win here this time at home.
Yeah, gonna have to agree with that one. Going with the Warriors. Like I said, I was at that game against Grant last week. Very stout defense, and they can even keep playing at half the level they're playing at right now, and the offense can keep. Had a little down week last week, but they still made some plays. So if they can just keep having those splash plays and let the defense take care of its job, I think the Warriors are going to come out with another victory there. So moving on as well, we have Man at Everett.
Man at Everett, that's an interesting one. I went back and forth trying to think of who I was going to take in this one. Everett, you know, they came out, started the season with a win. Well, we've said it a few times, only 17 kids on the roster. Yeah. Not a lot of depth there. They had a rough one against Harrison last week. I think they continue to kind of try to find their spots, find their niche on the team, and I think Manton gets over Everett on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Man on that one. I think last week kind of brought the Wildcats back down to earth a little bit. They still have the talent, but I do think it's going to be tough skating against a tough Manton team. And to wrap it up here, we have Baldwin traveling over to Vestaburg. Your thoughts on that one?
You know, Baldwin, you know, I've said it since week one. They lost to Reed City, but scored the first touchdown of the season against that Reed City defense. They got a big win last week over Farwell. I don't think Baldwin loses the rest of the season after that Reed City loss. I think they win against Vestaburg, and they win big.
I have to agree with you there. Going to take Baldwin in that game as well and keep the train rolling. Alrighty folks, well thank you for once again joining us for another edition of the Pioneer Sports Preview. Remember, you can always log on to www.bigrapidsnews.com or pick up an edition of the Pioneer in print every day.